Hey everyone, it's New. Welcome to another build update video. This time it's going to be my sleeper pick from last league's League Starter 3.22 Explosive Concoction, which was a last second split decision on my part. I think it's my most underrated build to date, probably because the community hasn't had much opportunity to digest the build, which is why I'm really hoping some people will try it out. Let me know how it goes. I think it was really good. I especially enjoyed the build for what it was designed for, which is kind of the Alch and Go quick or Exarch altar farming or expedition farming. Was really strong for that, and I'm going to show you a little showcase to remind you a little bit about that build at the end. But the main reason why we're making this video is because while the main skill gem did have its quality change, which will impact the build a little bit, that didn't really fundamentally change the build in any major way. What is changing the build, however, is the new Transfigured gem, and it's going to have a major impact. Long story short, dropping precise technique and going crit, which I was already kind of on the fence about before anyway, but now it's an absolute no-brainer, and the build just got way better, way better with minimal extra investment. So I'm going to talk to you about that in just a second, but let's start with the Explosive Concoction skill gem itself. The quality has changed. It is losing 10% increased area of effect, which is a huge hit for Explosive Concoction as a shotgun projectile-based skill that really needs that AoE for the overlap. I don't want to be losing AoE, but that's okay. I'm going to be picking up Dying Sun on the back end anyway, for reasons which I'll explain in just a moment. But we are also picking up some great quality here in the form of reduced flash charges used, and that's probably because the community has been telling GGG there's an issue with Explosive Concoction. It is too charge starved, which is kind of true, but you know, I did manage to make the build work, especially with the Overflowing Chalice. I think it's a perfectly serviceable build, especially in maps if you're just blasting through the maps. 15% reduced flash charges used is going to have a huge impact. As you may be aware, the Topaz, Sapphire, and Ruby Flask get their flash charges soaked up very quickly if you're firing multiple projectiles of Explosive Concoction. Also, Immortal Call got changed from increased duration to reduced or increased area, cooldown recovery, I guess. So no major change there. Val Smite lost its AoE, but picked up area damage, which I think is going to prove to be good for that Val Smite, doing just a little bit of extra damage to maybe finish off a monster and getting that really juicy flat lightning buff from time to time. Okay, so the main kicker, the one that's really shaking things up, is Explosive Concoction of Destruction. This just got released earlier today. So the long and short of it is 8% increased critical strike chance is more than the base gem already had. It already had 6, so this is 8%, and this is flat crit chance, so it's a huge deal for the build. And the other major line is at the bottom, whereas originally a Ruby Flask gave you critical strike multiplier for dot damage, focusing on ignite, this one is for attack damage, which is why Dying Sun is going to be added to the build. A wonderful change, I think. Just absolutely perfect. I mean, I couldn't have asked for something better. I suppose I'll just deal with the fact that they also reduced the flat elemental damage of the skill gem by roughly 20%. Kind of a big hit there, but when you get into the numbers, turns out to be really good in our favor anyway. Speaking of the numbers, I have the PoE list linked here. This is the old one. And I just kind of put this up for a couple reasons. One, because if I was a viewer, I think I would appreciate if I could just kind of see a real quick snapshot of the before and after. And also to show you that at least in terms of apples to apples config here, we're looking at 12 million with the old. And with the new, 20 million. Now, did the build really get like 80% more damage? No, not really, but I did actually get about 40% more damage, I'd say, when I go in real and dig in the numbers. So as far as the config is concerned, I added 98% critical strike multi, I added 2% flat crit, and I also added is the enemy on full life, which I'll explain in a second there. But yeah, the config can be a little misleading on this one, especially, you know, things like adrenaline with Tanu. He's not always up. This is not always factored in, and a few other things. But a lot is added there. We're getting power charges into the build because we're now using Assassin's Mark, not Sniper's Mark. So Sniper's Mark was just kind of what I had to deal with, because even though I couldn't make use of the projectiles going out from the enemy, at least I got the increased damage taken, and I was using precise techniques, so Assassin's Mark was out. But now it's in, because I'm gonna dig those power charges and all that extra crit chance and the leech for Tanu Ahid as well. It's a nice little bonus. Out with the Bismuth Flask, in with Dying Sun, and that's going to be great for the AoE as well as the crit multi. And also we are dropping Master Distiller and just going for flat flask effect, which is kind of awkward, but only doing 3 ascendancy points. I did try a Diamond Flask. Really tried a whole bunch of different ways to squeeze the Diamond Flask in with Master Distiller. Obviously, it did increase the damage a little bit, but one of the main issues is that the Dying Sun is sitting on 45% increased flask effect. So if I can just get 5% more, voila, 1 extra projectile. So this gives me the full 50% increase effect, which is going to be 9 projectiles, not 8, and a whole bunch of extra area of effect anyway, thanks to Dying Sun. So that's the main change there. Dying Sun, Assassin's Mark, and then dropping the Primeval Force, dropping a few masteries, moving the Mark wheel over here, because it's just better, I think. And picking up Lethality, as well as Heartseeker. And with the Concoction builds, the first hit is quite impactful, so I went ahead and took this mastery. I think it's a good idea. So those are the only major changes there. That is what the tree looks like now. You can see this new one linked in the description below. But if you want to see the old video and get a sense of the build as a whole, from start to finish, please do check the description also for the original build guide video. Let's show you a map showcase. And what is this build really good for? Well, I think it's best for, honestly, Alk and Go, but also Expedition. So we're going to add an Expedition into this map. City Square, Expedition, Alk and Go, boss rushing kind of stuff. Really good for this, and I highly recommend if you want to. I went ahead and added some Expedition things in here just for good measure. The reason why it's so good for Expedition is a few reasons. One, it has shock proliferation like crazy. Now, this is a hard flask skip, but you can settle for the non-shock proliferation variant. Anyway, Impulsa, absolutely huge, so long as they're not immune to lightning. But even if they are immune to lightning, we're still doing a lot of fire and still doing some cold. So it's very unlikely they'd be immune to all 3 elements. And even more than this is we're taking an attack mastery, which we could be doing monsters cannot block your attacks, which is also excellent for Expedition farming. And so you have a lot of tools at your disposal to just absolutely wreck Expeditions. So, you know, big bomb. Guess we'll put it down. Yeah, I think I'll come back to that later. Ooh, some ghosts. Might as well, I guess. Sorry, where's the boss again? Been a while since I've done City Square. Oh, over here. Sorry. Oh, missed that boss. Oh well, all gone now. Alright, we got an Expedition over here, right? Actually, I just saw my Val Smite got tripped up there. Hold on a second here. I want to do this right. Good to go into a big fight with Val Smite, if possible. There we go. And you can see being cleared all right. It looks like they might actually be immune to lightning. I don't know. I'm not seeing much shock proliferation explode. Usually the Expedition just dies very, very quickly. So yeah, I'm about to check here, and I bet it's going to say immune to lightning damage, which would be the worst outcome, by the way. They're also healing, but that's okay too. You can even take the Mark Mastery, Mark Target cannot heal, which would be even more overkill to fight off Expedition. So yeah, a lot of tools at our disposal. Here it is, immune to, no, cold damage. Okay, interesting. Looked like I didn't see any Impulsa action there, but oh well. Still worked out really nice, and that will conclude the video. So that's it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Are you interested in trying Explosive Concoction? Definitely recommend. As I said, I think it's a very underrated build. A lot of people kind of written off Explosive Concoction because it's just so darn non-meta. Well, this new Transfigured gem is going to shake things up, going to make it a lot better. And if you do watch the replay there, you're going to see that my Flask situation was perfectly fine for the most part. Yep. All right. Bye for now. See you in the next video.